First story. Stepbrother framed OP of perving on his stepsister. An entitled family abandoned him at 16. 30 years later, they reached out to make up for the lost time. Okay, as a mild lurker on Reddit, I thought I would share my story and the newest development in my life after 30 years. It might be a bit long, but I will do my very best to give you context without too much fluff. I hope this is the right sub. So I lost my mom when I was 12 to breast cancer. So that just left me and my dad. It was a tough time, but we got through it together. When I was 14, my dad met and married my stepmother Ashley, who brought with her my stepbrother Mark 14 and stepsister Emily 12. I got along with Ashley and Emily really well, but with Mark, not so much so. He and I were away, getting into arguments and fights. I was always told by my dad to give Mark a break, because he's been the man of his house for a while. So this is all new. Like somehow it wasn't new to me. Anyway, when I was 15, I met a girl at school named Lisa, and we started dating. As much as one can date at 15. However, Mark apparently had a crush on her, and was so mad that I asked her out. He started a fight over it, in which my dad had to intervene once again. And somehow I was again made to be the bad guy. One day after my 16th birthday, my stepmom was putting away my laundry and started yelling. Which was awkward because my girlfriend Lisa was there. We all ran, thinking the worst. When we got to my room, my stepmom was holding several pairs of my sister's underwear and yelling at me why they were in my drawer. I had no answer, as I'd never seen them before. Of course, no one believed me. No matter how much protesting I did, Mark piped up, saying he always caught me staring at his sister, thinking it was creepy, and caught me once saying, I wish I could marry her. Obviously lying, but that was all it took. Lisa slapped me, called me a perv, told me we were done, and we walked out. My dad grabbed me by the arm and threw me out of the house. He was yelling at me that he wasn't going to put his daughter at risk from a perv, not the word he used, but you get it. I banged on the door to be let in, crying and telling them it was all lies told by Mark. My dad apparently had enough. I heard the locks, and he opened the door, shoved me to the ground, and told me to get lost. I told him I had nowhere to go, and he said that wasn't his problem, then closed the door. I found myself on the streets, with nothing to my name. There is no place to go. I tried calling my dad's parents, but he had already called them, and they told me they wouldn't help a perv. My mom's parents passed away before I was born. Well, I lived on the streets for 2 years, doing what I had to in order to survive. No kid should have had to do what I had to do in order to just live. There were some really dark days. Lots of therapy later in life helped me with this. Shortly after I turned 18, I found a job working at a boxing gym. I stayed away from where I began this horrible journey. I worked there for years. I learned the sport. I'm never going to beat Mike Tyson, but I was good at it, which helped me with my hate and anger. Then one day, I met a new girl, aimed 20, at the cafe down the street from the gym. At this point, I was 35, I know, a huge age gap, but we just clicked. I don't believe in fate, soulmates, or anything like that. But if there is such a thing, we have it. I don't know how else to put it. We dated for 2 years, and then got married. Her dad was an electrician and hired me on afterwards. I think mostly to know I would be able to support his daughter and know I was doing right by her, but also in case he needed to keep me in check. He never said this, but as a dad, I get it now. Well, 15 years later, we are still together with 4 beautiful daughters. I just passed my master's license as an electrician. Thanks to my wife for pushing me to get my JED. She has been my rock, my cheerleader, and my all-around support through this all, and I can't tell her enough how much she changed my life and how much I love her. Anyway, sorry for the tangent. So just this past weekend, I received an email from my stepsister. I'm not sure how she got my email address, but I know it isn't hard via the internet, not like I've been hiding. Mind you, I'm now pushing 53, so it's been 30 plus years since I've heard from any of them. It was a long, long email. I'm not going to give you all of it, but the meat of it is that they now know what really happened. Mark, I guess, was busy drinking with his buddies on Friday, and somehow my name was mentioned. Mark, I guess, started bragging about how he set me up and took my girl yup. Mark and Lisa got married all those years ago. They were all laughing, hoping I died on the streets. A bunch of rude and vile stuff. I guess he forgot Lisa was there, and she heard it all. So she called my stepsister to let her know. And so Emily spent all weekend trying to find me. Like I said, the email was long. Short of it, they want to apologize face to face, although it was already said in the email multiple times, and make up for lost time. I'm, however, indifferent to the idea. I have no ill feelings towards her. She was obviously young and had no real say in the matter. But with lots and lots of therapy, I learned to let go of that hate and anger. As well, with all the love I receive from my wife, kids, and in-laws, it's all I really need. I'm into the idea of just deleting the email and moving on like nothing happened. My wife thinks I should at least respond back, even if to say something snarky like, "Thanks for finally believing me. It only took over 30 years. Did I mention my wife has a mean or petty streak toward her? She's awesome. I'm not asking for advice. I just wanted to share my story. There is a boxing quote that I have up in my house that reminds me every day. To see a man beaten not by a better man, but by himself is a tragedy. Edited. Pushing 50 to 53, because apparently, people are getting hung up on my age. Because if it's not perfect. I guess that's Reddit for you. Comments. Primera Filho. It's up to you what you should do. Personally, I'd either delete the email or respond, telling her, "Thanks for letting you know," and that while you bear her no hard feelings, you have no interest in reconnecting with any of the rest of them. Not religious now. Interesting. I'm with your wife on this because I'm petty like that too. I have a question for you. What happened to your dad and stepmom? Is there any mention of them in that email? Perhaps for final closure, simply respond that you appreciate them reaching out after 30 plus years. But you have a great life without any of the people who would throw out a 16-year-old child on the streets. Then ask not to be bothered again or say you're willing to meet if and when Mark, Lisa, your dad, and stepmom beg for your forgiveness on their knees to make up for the hell you endured. Ocean 2731. I'd delete the email and go on living your best life without them. Do you really want to spend more time and emotional energy with them? OP. That truly is my thought. But my wife's petty answer would be good as well. Update. 2 days later. First, I want to thank everyone for their kind words and advice. I wasn't looking for advice. I just wanted a place to share my story. To those who gave me credit for overcoming everything, thank you. However, the wife thinks she deserves most of it. And in all honesty, she does. To those who think this is fake. It's Reddit. I get it. It is what it is. Most things have to be taken with a grain of salt. I shared my story, and I can't make you believe me. But that's okay. If my story resonates and helps others know they can survive, then I'm happy with that. And that's all that matters. Okay, for the update. I'm going to post most of the original email, as a lot of you have requested. I kept out some deep personal information, but the majority of it is there. I might have to break it up due to the character limit, plus a response with the help of my wife. And also the help of others who made suggestions, which is good, because I'm not that great at putting down in words how I feel without coming off looking dumb. She was able to make me sound less dumb. Lol. I took the family to the lake for the weekend to recharge and leave this all behind me. Thanks again to everyone. Emily's letter. Dear OP, this is your sister Emily. And as I sit down to finally reach out to you, after what feels like an eternity, I would like to explain why. I understand if you choose not to read this, but I truly hope you will take the time to at least hear me out. First of all, I want to apologize for never taking the time to contact you before. I was misled by Mark and Dad, who constantly painted a negative picture of you in my mind. They filled my head and heart with lies and made me believe that you were someone you were not. For a while, I held on to hope that you would come back home, but as time passed and their words continued to poison my thoughts, I let go of that hope and allowed myself to believe the worst about you. It pains me to admit that I even started to hate you, despite the fact that, deep down, I always considered you a brother to me. I felt betrayed by the twisted image that was presented to me, and I regret not reaching out to hear your side of the story sooner. A lot has changed in our family since you left. I got married, and now you're an uncle. Mom and Dad are still together and are preparing for retirement. Mark and Lisa eventually got married, and they have no children. However, the truth that has recently come to light has shaken the very foundation of everything I thought I knew. On Friday, Lisa overheard Mark boasting about how he orchestrated the setup against you, how he manipulated the situation to make you look bad, and how he convinced us to turn against you to his friends as they all got drunk. They laughed about the pain he caused you and the lies he spread, all while belittling you in the cruelest and meanest ways possible, saying things like they hope you died in the streets. Lisa couldn't keep this bombshell to herself, and when she confided in me, my world came crashing down. To think that I could have been so wrong about you for all these years is a heavy burden to bear. I can't begin to express how deeply sorry I am, as is Lisa. We both realize now the extent of the manipulation and deceit that was carried out against you, and we are devastated by this fact. After sharing this revelation with Mom and Dad, Dad started crying, like really crying. I've never seen him cry before. I believe it because he has been carrying around a lot of guilt all these years. Obviously, now knowing the truth, he is now having to deal with the consequences of his actions. However, after several hours of talking, we all came to the conclusion that we needed to find you and make amends. I have spent hours trying to locate you in the hopes that I could reach out and extend a heartfelt apology for the years of misunderstanding, mistreatment, and hurt. I know that words can never undo the damage that has been done to you, but I sincerely hope that you can find it in your heart to forgive us. We long to make amends, to start anew, and to maybe even make up for lost time. Please know that I am truly sorry for the pain and hurt that you have endured because of our ignorance and blindness. I hope that someday we can meet in person so that I can look you in the eye and express my remorse face to face. I can only hope that you will consider giving us a chance to right the wrongs of the past and to heal the wounds that have been inflicted on you by us. With all my love and sincerest apologies, your sister, Emily. OP's response. Dear Emily, I appreciate you taking the time to reach out to me, but I must be honest with you. The years of pain and hurt caused by the lies and manipulation by Mark and the betrayal by Dad have left deep scars that will never be truly healed. While I understand that you are now aware of the truth and are genuinely sorry for what has transpired, I find it difficult to simply forgive and forget. The betrayal and abandonment I experienced at the hands of my own family have left me with a sense of distrust and resentment that can never be overcome. The damage that has been done has impacted me in ways that you may never fully and truly understand, and the idea of trying to reconcile now feels like an insurmountable task. I have spent years in therapy trying to come to terms with the pain and deep trauma I endured, and I have worked hard to build a wonderful life for myself that does not rely on the presence or approval of those who turn their backs on me. While I am grateful for the apology and the newfound awareness of the truth, I do not feel compelled to rekindle a relationship that was built on lies, deception, and betrayal. Especially after all these years, I have found peace and closure in distancing myself from those who caused me harm, and I do not see the need to reopen old wounds in the name of reconciliation. While I believe in the power of forgiveness, that isn't something I can give. I wish you all the best in your life. I really do, but I must prioritize my emotional health and self-preservation above all else. I hope you can respect my decision and understand that the wounds of the past will take a lifetime to heal. I would appreciate it if you passed this fact on to the others, and please don't reach out again. I must look to my future and not my past. Sincerely, OP. Comments. Jinxamaji. Emily writes about the changes in the family after you left. You didn't leave. You were kicked out of your house with absolutely nothing. Even your grandparents wouldn't listen to you. You were a 16-year-old. A child. They feel guilty. Let them. Leave them in your rear-view mirror. To throw away a child like that. To not even talk to you, your sperm donor, is a horrible thing. I hope the guilt eats him up. You could have died. And Mark wishes you death and misery for what? Because his mom married a guy with a son. I wish you and your family all the best. I am happy you realize that letting them back in will not serve you. Itchy Bookkeeper, 1058. Your dad is such a poss. I still cannot believe what he did. Good riddance, Sushabentabox. He is the absolute worst in all of this. He believed the words of another male over his own son. And the stepbrother, vile, despicable, sociopath. There's a special place in hell for him. Second story. My wife betrayed me and our daughter by cheating on her girls' night and begging me for a second chance, which I can't. But mom is on my wife's side. Me 39M and my wife 33F have been together for 13 years. She recently went away on a girls' trip. I was not worried at all. I have never had a reason to distrust her. She has never done anything to give me cause for concern, and it's not like she was even going abroad. She was going to a Butlins half an hour away, for God's sake. She went with her sister and a few other girls. She called me up this morning, and I didn't expect anything other than her checking in. She's only been away for one night of a 3-night trip. When I answered, she was crying and incoherent. When I finally calmed her down, she told me she had slept with someone else the night before. Supposedly, she met a guy whom she approached. They flirted a little and danced together, and she thought that was as far as it would go. But he supposedly just charmed her into a kiss, which turned to making out, which turned to her asking him to walk her back to her hotel, which turned into them having sex. She says nothing was amiss, he wasn't pushy or weird. And they actually had sex multiple times because she would say they needed to stop, and he would stop immediately. And then after a few minutes, she'd want him to carry on, and he would. And he supposedly never even finished because of the stop starting. This supposedly went on for 3 hours, and she eventually said stop for good and asked him to leave, and he did. The guy is supposedly 10 years younger than her, and she said she lied and told him she was going through a divorce. She says she doesn't know what came over her, and she just wanted to see if she still had it, but got carried away. 14 years, married for 10 years, and we have a 7-year-old daughter. I want to leave her. She's begging me not to, offering marriage counseling, never going out again, never drinking again, etc. I've always been a one-chance sort of guy. I just told her to go F herself, and I have been ignoring her since about 10 a.m. Now her friends and sister are calling me too. They apparently had no idea she'd even gone home with him. They saw them talking but thought nothing of it. I just want them all to leave me alone. I told my mom about it, and she said I should think of my family, and that my wife seems genuinely remorseful, didn't try to hide anything, and came clean straight away. It's not like she had an affair, and that is bad as it is. This is the best case scenario. After that conversation, I feel like I'm insane. Am I wrong for not even considering forgiving her? Top comments. Beneficial Syrup 869. You're not wrong at all. She broke your trust. Now, every time she goes anywhere, will she do this again? And she didn't have sex with him once. She told you it was multiple times. Turn your phone off and take your daughter out for a meal. Spend time with her before your wife gets home and starts love bombing you both and strong arming you. See Boot 74-13. You can forgive and forget, but understand that you do not have to accept and stay. Edit. Please understand that I didn't say he had to forget what she'd done and stay with her. I said forgive her for what she's done, but that doesn't mean you have to stay because, at the end of the day, a very important boundary was broken by choice. So he also deserves that same choice of being able to say, I choose to walk away from this because of your actions to disrespect my boundaries. When I say forget, I mean forget the person from before the transgression. That person is no longer there, so that person is gone. The person you loved didn't cheat on you. That person is now in the past. So forget that person and understand that the person before you now is something entirely new, and move accordingly to who they are now and not who they once were. No Association 968. Trust is broken. You are not wrong. Some will do marriage counseling, but I personally couldn't forgive this. 3 hours of deception is a long time, and she knew it was wrong. I'm so sorry, OP. I get the one and done. Usual Ostrich 8-597. Dude, leave. All those times she was stopping the other guy from continuing. She was probably questioning if she should continue. And guess what? She did it multiple times. Update. So my wife came home tonight after giving me the day to cool off. I asked to see the guy. I don't know why, maybe I'm a sucker for punishment. And of course he looks like a superhero. So that's great. The guy looks like Anthony Joshua or something. For the record, my wife is beautiful. Like having perfect teeth, working out regularly, etc. I am not ugly, but I am just a typical English guy. Not overweight, but could probably lose a few pounds, a bit of a dad bod, etc. I still have a full head of hair, which is nice. I always felt so lucky to be with her. She was an amazing partner, an amazing mother, funny, intelligent, etc. I asked her to lay out what happened to me in more detail. I wanted to catch any lies or changes in the story and test her consistency. She basically says she was at the bar, and the guy was standing next to her. They glanced at each other, and she said, "Where did you come from?" to him. He asked what she meant, and she said he was the first handsome man she'd seen. And that's how the conversation got started. As for her telling him she was divorcing, that happened when he glanced down, noticed her ring, and asked her about it. Apparently, once she said that, he went on to say, "Not like I give an F either way." What a gentleman. I asked if she thinks he could have slipped her anything, and she says it's impossible because they only did shots together. I asked if she took any drugs, and she admitted to doing coke with her friends, which isn't all that surprising if you're from the UK and you're into drinking culture. It's pretty standard. A few of you seem to be Americans, so let me explain what exactly a butlin is. It's basically a holiday resort, usually for families, but they sometimes host adult exclusive weekends where it's a pretty big party place. It's cheap, grimy, and can be a lot of fun. People dress up, there's DJs, live music, multiple venues, late night entertainment, etc. As for people saying she got caught by her friends, she actually didn't. She disappeared with the guy and went home with him. She texted her friends. She was tired and wanted to go to sleep. And as they are on the resort and the hotel is like a 3-minute walk, they all just said to text when she was safe in her room. She was sharing a room with her sister, but she was in their other friend's room drinking and doing coke because they thought she was sleeping. She told the guy to leave at around 6 a.m. because she thought her sister might be coming back soon. as that's when the party usually winds down. I asked her how many times she had sex with the guy, and she said 4 or 5, lasting between 5 and 10 minutes each time. Apparently, even after cheating, she never thought she'd sleep with the guy. She says she just wanted to give him oral, so she did that. But the guy said he could only finish through sex. She didn't believe him. Until 20 minutes later, he still wasn't done. So she gave up and climbed on top of him. But then, after about 5 minutes, she thought, "What the F am I doing?" and got off him. Then she laid there and cuddled him and drank more. And then 10 minutes later, they would be touching each other again. This was repeated 4 or 5 times. She says that she kept thinking it was wrong, but then would think, it's too late now anyway, so I might as well carry on. And basically go through a loop of that. I asked her why she felt the need to see if she still had it. And she says since she hit 30, she's been self-conscious of her aging. When she spots a new wrinkle or something, it drives her to tears. She said that chatting with the guy made her feel young again, and she latched onto that. Also, apparently, the guy was there with a girl, who my wife said looked like a younger version of herself, and the guy pointed her out to my wife and said, "That girl over there watching us has a crush on me," and laughed about it. After he had been talking to my wife for like 30 minutes, the girl had enough, walked over and kicked the table, spilling the guy's drink, and then stormed off. She says that the guy picking her over a younger woman drove her ego crazy, and that was when she decided to kiss him. I asked her why she even told me, and she said that when she woke up, she saw I'd sent a selfie of me and our daughter eating pizza together, and it sent her into a nervous breakdown. She was wailing and sobbing so loudly that it woke up her sister, and that's when she confessed. Her sister told her she was insane for what she did and wasn't very comforting, and then she left the room mad at her, which made it worse, and that's when she called me. I have asked her to leave the house for a few days, and she is staying at her mother's house while I decide what I want to do. She begged me not to make her leave, but she did when I said it was the least she could do after blowing up our entire lives over wrinkles, making her sad. As for my mother, she still thinks I should forgive her. For context, my dad died about a year ago, and my wife has really been a rock for my mom. I cannot see her as much as I would like due to my work, but my wife is a self-employed lash and nail tech, and has a lot of free time, which she uses to spend with my mom to keep her company, do her hair, and have girly days to try and make sure she doesn't get lonely. Like I said, she was such a perfect partner. No, I don't think my mom is a cheater or whatever, and she is very angry at my wife. But she loves her, and she just wants everything to be okay. My daughter has no idea what is happening. She was already asleep when my wife came and went again. She will just think Mummy is still on holiday. I still have no idea what I'm going to do. Honestly, I'm still reeling. But that's basically everything. Top comments. Forever Broke 12. What happens when she turns 40 or 50? When will she get her first gray hair? Menopause. She cheated because she was scared of getting older. But she was still going to keep getting older. And not to mention from the story, while the guy seems like a DCK, she seems like not a great role model, either if she was totally okay with helping him hurt that other girl's feelings. Facersk. Her sister told her she was insane for what she did. Your wife's sister is absolutely on point. This was rough to read through as an outsider. I can't imagine how shtty it is to experience it firsthand. International Box 809. If she knows she can get away with it, she will do it again. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.